If he's
Okay.
sentenced to die.
So you'll have to. So you have that up on. If you have Twitch running on another computer, we'll just have to run it on delay. We only watch a few. So, like, do you see what I'm saying? So when we start it, just unmute it and then listen to it, and then we'll talk when you're done. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Otherwise,
You
I'm
t-
not even going to deal with bumpers because you're not going to be able to hear them. Well, actually, you can hear them. I don't know why. No, you can hear them. That's right. You cannot hear them. Okay.
okay.
I'll figure this out eventually. All right.
Well, it makes it more complicated when we're doing it across a couple thousand miles. So.
Well, and Will and I did it like 2 years ago this way, and we didn't do it last summer really. At least we didn't do it live. So I like to try to keep it live when I can. So actually, I tweeted about it earlier too, so we might get some
Yeah,
people.
I retweeted it.
Nice.
So both my followers might look at. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there we go. And I know I used your old handle. Which handle do you want me to use for the
Oh, just use
intro?
that one. I just made the other one for fun. So that
Well,
we
Will
can...
texted me like, was it last night? It was the day you made it. He was like, "Who is this? I am not Will Griggs on Twitch or on Twitter." I was like, "Dude, that's skiing. He's fucking with you." And he was like, because he hadn't been on. He doesn't go on social media a lot when he's
uh,
off the grid in his head. So like, it was just funny. I was like, I was giving him shit. I was like, "Dude, I told you, I told him you'd be fine." He's like, "No, I'm totally fine. I just didn't know who it was." So
yeah.
I just thought it was pretty funny. All right. All right, dude. So I don't know how much we want to do as far as SWTOR. There's this one thing about Cartel Coins I want to do. There's a follow up to Warzone stuff. I'll just run through some of it. I might pick and choose a little bit. Do you play GSF at all?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
So I'll
Do
probably
you?
skip. Nah, I used to. I'll probably skip that. And then there's one other kind of cool thing I'm just gonna throw out there about this, and then we'll move on. And
Okay.
then mostly I just want to talk about video games.
No, that's all good, man.
And Comic Con, so that'll be good. All right, so let's give people a minute, and then I wonder if Will will jump in here. We'll see. That guy. So next week I'm working every single night next week, which is why I wanted to get this in. So what I'm gonna do is finish editing the whole Han Solo one tonight, and then get that one out uh, either tonight or tomorrow morning before I go, and then I'll post this one early. Well, I always post it the week after, but then we'll have to catch up at some point. I don't know when you're available, but maybe early the next week, and I can turn it around real quick, and it'll be like we didn't miss a week. So,
Yeah, hey,
um,
whatever works for you.
yeah.
I'm pretty flexible. I'm just trying to finish up audits this month, and I'm almost done with them.
Well,
So
you're a working man, dude. I'm only half working right now. So
nah, whatever.
by half working, I
Yeah.
meant I worked till 11 o'clock last night, but that's fine.
I trust me, I get it. I'm hoping after this next Thursday, I'll find out more about this promotion, and then I'll be able to stay home a little bit more often. So
Oh
start
crap!
right.
I just saw. Oh, sorry, dude. I just saw something crazy. I gotta throw in. Dude, that's weird. Okay, so, sorry. What were you saying? I'm gonna throw this in there.
Oh no, no, go ahead. Tell me
No,
what.
no, no, no,
Go
no.
ahead with it. Oh no, what I was saying is hopefully Thursday next week I go up to do a second interview for this director at training position. So I'm hoping
Oh,
that comes through because it'll be more closer to home and doing more writing, training material and stuff from home. So that
dude,
would
that's
be
good, dude. That's a is
yeah,
that would be a promotion, yeah.
yeah, yep.
Nice, dude.
So we'll see what happens.
Uh, I gasped because I got notifications from certain things,
Hmm.
and it turns out HBO is skipping Comic Con as well. That means there's
Oh,
not going to be any offsites for Westworld or Game of Thrones, which has been a big deal as of late. So, give me a sec.
is it Game of Thrones ending this year,
I think there's two more seasons, right?
or is it two more? I don't
Two.
watch it, so I
There's
don't
two
know.
more short seasons, if I'm not mistaken. But it
Okay.
could just be seven, eight, nine. Yeah, the two more seasons because seven just ended, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I just gotta update this real quick. All right, done and done. Okay. Yeah, that's a big deal. So I'll gloss over all that stuff, and we'll talk about the meetup, and I'll pretend like you're gonna be there one year, and Yeah, I'm just kidding, dude. I'm kidding, buddy. I'm kidding. You know me.
Well, are you going to come out to Star Wars Celebration?
I want to so bad, dude. I love Chicago too. I if I wasn't going on this crazy writing cruise in September, I could probably pull it off, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. Are you going?
The plan is to get up for at least one day.
Oh,
So
awesome. Well, you'll be our correspondent unless I can make it out there. I know.
just because it's only 3 hours from here, so to me it's just one of those. It's like I gotta go.
No,
at
for
least
sure.
one day.
Like I said, I'm gonna drive 4 hours tomorrow just to get to my parents' house. So it's like that's to me, it's just a half, part of a day
Right.
jaunt. So, all right, dude. I'm gonna put. If you can't, I don't think you can hear the bumpers, but I'm gonna play it just for fun, and then I'll start it up. And if anybody joins, they join. If not, I did all this work for nothing. I'm just kidding. Okay. Where am I at? Okay. Here we go.
Blast came from the Death Star. That thing's operational.
Dr. Banner. Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry.
Hello and welcome to episode 139 of The Usual Podcast, a podcast where we discuss Star Wars The Old Republic, the Star Wars franchise, and geek and pop culture. I'm your host, Marshall, and with me, filling in for Will for the foreseeable future, is my awesome drinking buddy and co-host, Mr. John Skeen. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad we got this worked out. We were supposed to do it the other day, and it didn't, but here we are, and it's Thursday, and we're right on time.
It is Thursday, on time. Everything's perfect.
Yeah, everything's the way it should be, right?
It's working. Yep.
Speaking of the way it should be, we're sitting here enjoying our usual frosty beverages. What are you drinking, man?
Tonight I have from Quaff On Brewing Company out of Bloomington, Indiana, a 6-foot blonde.
Ooh.
It's just a basic American blonde ale. So let's see if I can get the little. There we go. Logo. So it's got imagine that a 6-foot blonde girl on it. So, but
Nice,
it's
dude.
quite tasty. Yeah, it's the first time I've had it, but it's really good.
Nice.
How about you? What are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking, I think I had this the other day, but I can't remember. It's Scorpion Bowl IPA from Stone Brewing Company. And the reason I'm doing this one tonight, I got this at my local The Safeway. I picked it up. It was not only because it was on sale, but also because of San Diego Comic-Con news I've got later in the show. They're out of San Diego, so I thought that was fitting. So
Absolutely.
it's delicious, man. I'm liking these kind of things. So anyway, what were we saying? Speaking of beers.
Oh, I was gonna say, speaking of beer, turns out that one of your favorites I've sent you a couple of times just got released, so you'll be getting some all right here very soon.
I love that,
So,
dude. I love Rise, man. Like Hop Rod Rise, one of my favorites, and the one you've been sending is great. So I will take it. I don't say no to good beer. So
Never, ever.
all right, man. So before we get started, if you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I'm at Darth Pops on Twitter, and Mr. John Skeen is at, I don't know. What do you want to do? Do you want to do it at I am not Will Griggs or
I am
at John
not
R.
Will
Skeen?
So the fake account will be I am not Will Griggs.
I love it.
But if you really want to get a hold of me, hit me up at John R. Skeen.
Dude, I love that you did that. Like I was telling you earlier, Will got all confused. He's like, "Who's this guy? Who's this?" And I was like, "Oh, that's Skeen. He's messing with you." So it's great.
Well, I just wanted to make it as clear as possible. I'm not Will Griggs.
and you
I
are
will
not,
never,
but it's great to
ever
have
be
you.
as good as him on a podcast, but I will do my best.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. So we're also on iTunes, Stitch Radio, and Google Play. So like us, share us, and tell your friends. We have merch at teespring.com/stores/usual podcast. And we have the timestamps in the show notes. We're going to this is kind of a weird show. And of course I brought John in for a weird show, but we're going to do a really quick SWO tour, a few Star Wars news, but most of everything we're going to talk about today is going to be E3 related. So if you're thinking of tuning us out early on, bear with us. And, we're going to talk about all kinds of video games today, dude. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. Video games. I like those.
Yeah, we kind of like those things. So thanks everybody who is in the chat room. Throw your questions out there and join in, and we'll move right along. So, dude, shall we talk SWTOR?
Absolutely.
I'm actually not going to do the bumpers, and mostly because you can't hear them, and it's just awkward silence between us. So what I am going to do is acknowledge our other drinking buddies, Mr. Eddie, who I vow to get on the show sooner rather than later, and Mr. Zen. He is a big contributor around this time of year to help us get to Comic-Con, and much appreciated. Thank you, Zen, for all the things you do for the show, and of course, Skeen, you're with us, so I thanked you enough. We're good.
Yeah, enough. Yeah, enough is enough.
All right, man. So let's talk about SWTOR. What'd you do this week? You been playing?
A little bit. I finished up. I had started a couple weeks ago Sork on the Inquisitor storyline, and I think the last time we had talked, I was having fun going back through that storyline because that was the very first one I had done, but I had never done healing or anything like that before, so I wanted to give it a shot and see what that was like. So I finished off the class storyline on that one. Now I'm just gonna kind of go into the rest of the storyline because I've kind of enjoyed playing that character.
Yeah.
So I think I'm at like level 67 or something like that after finishing off the class stories. Yeah. So I'll just keep running with it for a little bit because it's still kind of fresh and new. And
yeah, like I said, man, I love the
there.
Inquisitor. That's my favorite. I just love that storyline. I love I don't know. For me, if you're a lover of the dark side, it works out really well.
Absolutely.
And I haven't done much in SWTOR, sadly. I've been playing a little Elder Scrolls Online, but honestly, up until last night, I haven't been really playing anything. End of the school year happened. I'm finally into summer. I'm going to take a little vacation, and then I'll be back, hopefully to play a little bit in the next few weeks before I go on another vacation. But I did a few dailies. I logged in. WOG, like I said, I should throw this out there. What's an Ops group is on a hiatus for the summer, as we normally do. I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not, but we're on hiatus basically until the summer ends, and in the fall we'll come back. We're going to do some promotions and kind of change how that works. We've been doing it a few years, man, and really what it comes down to is it's not that we're having a hard time getting people. It's more we're trying to figure out what we're about. A lot of people that are joining in are not really beginner ops people, so we need to kind of open it back up to some more beginners and figure that out, because that's kind of the whole reason for the group anyway.
Right, because really it's become more dog. It's a drinking ops group,
and I feel like that's what it should be.
I agree.
Everybody should be in there drinking, having a good time. But at the same time, we want to make sure people who want to learn the stuff can do it as well. So we're gonna figure it out. We'll give us a month or two to figure that out and go from there. So, all right, dude. Some news items, really quick. There's an issue with cartel coins. And it turns out cartel coins were kind of slow to get into people's accounts. And there was a follow-up actually today. And I know I'm going to be behind putting this show out, so this might be old news. But it says, follow-up from Keith, says, some of you posting you've received your cartel coins. And if you haven't got it, basically, they feel like they've got them all. But if you feel like you have an issue, contact customer service. So that's really what it comes down to. And this is basically the cartel coins you get for being a subscriber that you get once a month. So, oh, something just happened in my house. Are you all right? Someone knocked the dog gate down. I don't know why. Oh. But anyway, here we are. Okay, so I know you're not a big PvPer, dude. I know that. I haven't been that much as either. But there's a ton of PvP changes coming. So one of the things that they're doing is they put a couple threads out there to get feedback. And so based on the feedback, here's some of the changes that are coming for the initial run. There's a follow-up to this, which I'll get to in a minute. Again, it won't take us long, but I think this is kind of interesting. So Novara Coast, they've done some stuff based off the feedback. So any characters who leave the starting area prior to the match starting will die, which I think is important. I think people should die when they're doing things they're not supposed to do, right?
I agree.
Or is that extreme?
I agree.
I don't know.
No, I don't think it's extreme. Because at least when something like that happens, you're at least hurting your team, and you're gonna tick off your teammates.
Yeah, and I
they're,
mean,
they're in
you
the
know,
group with you.
God forbid people play by the rules. So, and then players will no longer be able to cap a point outside the intended 20 meter range, which, it says we're looking at you phase walk in parentheses. So people were exploiting that, it looks like. So if you had phase walk, people were doing that. So that's something. And then Void Star changes characters who attempt to hack through the hangar doors to place a charge from inside the hallway will die.
Immediate death.
Yeah, and the reason I like reading these is because I just like the ending. You will die, so that makes me happy. But the big part is coming up here is matchmaking changes, and I have a link in the show notes. I'm not going to run through all of this, but people have over the years been complaining about how matchmaking goes, and the main thing is all war zones and starfighter queues are now going to be cross faction, so that'll help. I know that there's some matches that were that all the way, but now they're incorporating everything. So it might be kind of cool for GSF though, even though I don't think either of us play it too much, but it might be nice to see the same side, Republic and Imperial, starfighters. That might be kind of cool.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, I think you might PvP a little bit more often than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But after the server merges, was PvP popping more than what it had before? Or?
From what I understand, yes. But I think they're really working on, and I think that was the main thing they were addressing. They wanted to make sure things were popping more often, but then now they're trying to not only that, but work on the fine tuning of the matchmaking part. But I think with that, just that one thing, that will make things pop even more often, which I think is good too. So
I agree.
More pops, the better. And let's see, it says unranked Warzone queues will now prioritize war zones over arenas, which is cool. That makes sense, actually, because I don't know, arenas. I like arenas, but like they're very stressful. I don't know if you ever played for arenas, but they're very stressful.
I've been in a couple times. I'm usually the first one to die.
Yeah, it's one thing to go in with a group of 8 people and like hang out and maybe not do the objective, but it's another thing to be in a 4-on-4 match and be the healer.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a problem. So role balancing, there's some stuff in there for that. The main thing, and this is probably where I'm going to leave it, is matchmaking will never take place more than 2 tanks or healers in the same team in a war zone, or 1 tank or healer in an arena. And this is one of the other things that in the follow-up post that comes up, which I think is interesting, because there were some matches where, like, if you were randomly against 3 healers or 2 healers, there's no way you're going to kill any of those people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they're trying to work on that, which I think is good. So I think I'm gonna leave it at that. There's more stuff, obviously, but since neither of us are, PvP guys, I have some links in the show notes for that. What else do we want to talk about? Oh, part 2. Let's talk about part 2. All right. This is the big one. This was just posted a few days ago. Actually, well, we didn't talk about SWTOR last week, but part 2 of the planned Warzone changes for Game Update 5.9.2. So there's a thread in here. Obviously, you can contribute, and there's the feedback is there. A lot of it has to do with HUT ball and who's carrying the HUT ball and the stunt and the slowdown and that kind of thing. So I think that's good. And there's some changes to arenas as well. The main thing it says there's quite a few places where players can exploit to prevent themselves from dying. We plan to address them and implement ways to penalize those players. So I don't know what these people are doing, but the point is, I know the point is not to die, but you should also be playing the game too, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've never quite understood all the exploits and everything else that happens. It's like, just play the game the way it was meant to be played.
And like, I don't know. I've never had a problem with dying, but here we are.
Yeah.
So there's a follow-up post to that, and I have a link in the show notes too. That has to do with Hinder, and that's the person who has the HUT ball in HUT ball. There's a debuff called Hinder, and they're making some changes to that. And I don't know, man. Like I said, we're not big PvP guys, but there's a ton of stuff, and I'm glad they're addressing this stuff, honestly, because PvP has been, I hate to say, neglected in the last year and a half or so. Outside of getting another arena or something here and there, but I mean, there hasn't been any big sweeping changes to PvP, and I hope, because PvP is actually pretty fun in SWTOR. So
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed. I mean, this is the first MMO that I've played, but one of the things I've noticed is it's BioWare, or the creative team, kind of goes all in on things. It's never just it's either all story, or now we're going to concentrate on operations, and now we're going to, it was kind of flashpoints there for a minute, and now we're going to PvP. So obviously that means we're going to go full circle and come back to story. I'm not sure what happens there, but it's never a little bit of each. It's all or nothing.
And I think you're right, and I think it has to do with the size of the team, and also, so now that we're done with the PvP, with the expansion, or the expansion that's coming in the near future, that's, I think, where we come back to story. So I like, and there's some guild improvements coming too, which I'm excited about. They've talked about in the roadmap. So the roadmap's actually kind of nice. They're trying to touch everything, I think. And with some of the stuff we'll talk about later with Anthem and the other things BioWare is doing, it's kind of great that they're actually doing what they're doing, to be honest with you.
No. Hey, anytime we're gonna make changes or do an expansion, I'm all for it. So,
but I mean, this game, man. I mean, and that's the thing. Some of us have been playing this game for over 6 years, and it's persisted, and I think that's good. And the developers are passionate about it. The players are passionate about it. And I wanted to kind of keep going. I really wanted to keep going, obviously. So anything they can do, I think it's important, and they got to touch, whether it takes them a year and a half to come back to PvP, knowing that they'll come back to that stuff is important, I think. So, all right, man. So, anything else on SWTOR?
Not for me.
I know I glossed over a lot of that because I really want to get to some of this gaming stuff because I'm excited about it. So, I call me biased, but I put the show together so I can do what I want. So let's get so let's get to Star Wars, man. The cool thing is, you have something at the top. Let's talk about this. What do you got?
Okay. So, interesting thing that happened at work 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of tied it into the Star Wars community. I do, basically, I'm kind of a franchise business consultant for different franchises that we have within our group. So every now and then we rotate stores that we're taking. So I'm going into a new store, and the previous person, the coworker of mine, had problems connecting with the ownership group there. So I go in and we sit down at the table. So I'm with my coworker, and we're explaining the transition and the changeover. Pull out my laptop, and the girl that's one of the co-owners starts talking to me right away. And we start talking about Star Wars. And she's like, "Oh, you like Star Wars?" So we end up having like a 45-minute conversation.
Are you serious?
So it's a lot of fun, right? So I'm watching my coworker, and I'm not dogging him at all, but just like eyes big, like, what the heck is going on here?
The glossy stare, like, what are we doing?
What's happening? So, anyways, we finish up with the conversation, and walk out of there, and basically this girl and I are new best friends, whatever.
Nice.
So we walk out in the parking lot. We're getting ready to leave, and he's like, "What the hell just happened in there? I don't understand." How, he goes, "She just talked to you more than she talked to me in like a full year." I don't. I'm like, dude, you remember, like, on the back of my laptop, I've got this vinyl cutout that my wife made with her Cricut machine. That's a Darth Vader mask.
Oh,
I said, I said, you guys made fun of me in meetings for like 6 months because I had that Darth Vader mask on the back of my laptop. Well, guess what she saw? She saw that Darth Vader mask, and we instantly connected. I said, that's my community. That's where I hang out. And so it was immediately, we had a connection.
Yeah, like, those are my people, man.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, unbelievable. So I just thought it was kind of fun. It's like, Star Wars, right? It can bring people together.
Dude, that's great. I love it. And that's the thing. I like I said, I've been working, I work my second job, and I'm always wearing some geeky t-shirt of some sort, and the amount of regulars at the pizza pub I work at that I've known for over 10 years that are Star Wars geeks that I didn't know about until I started working there was actually kind of cool. So I've been having some random conversations about Star Wars stuff too, which is kind of nice. There's some divisiveness, believe it or not, over over some of the more recent films. I know that's crazy, but
In the Star Wars community?
I know.
No.
It's unheard of almost, right?
Right.
Oh man. Speaking of divisiveness, that's a good segue. Let's jump over. I have this weird story from Nerdist, from Nerdist talking about George Lucas and what his sequel trilogy would have been. So it turns out George Lucas says the next 3 Star Wars films we're going to get a microbiotic world. There's this world of creatures that operate differently than we do. I call them the Wills. And the Wills are the ones who actually control the universe. They feed off the Force. So if I'd held on to the company, I could have done it, and then it would have been done. Of course, a lot of the fans would have hated it, just like they did the Phantom Menace and everything. But at least the whole story from beginning to end would be told. So what the heck? So he would have, and obviously they touch on this. We hear about the Guardians of the Wills with Rogue One as well. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. That just popped up yesterday. So.
Right, and I tell you, I'm not one of those people that dislike the prequels. I actually enjoyed them. Maybe
Me too.
Because it was the first Star Wars things that had come out in a long time. But I thought the stories were good. A lot of people don't like them. I don't quite understand it, but hey, to each their own.
Well, and I'm with you, man. And I it would have been interesting to see had George Lucas not given up. I mean, I guess that's not the right way to put it, but had decided to call it. Oh, that's the same thing. Had decided to sell the franchise. It would have been interesting to see where he would have went. I honestly think he would have got someone else to write them and direct them, but I think it would have been nice to kind of see what he wanted the bigger picture to be going forward. You know what I mean? And I think you get a taste of that with Rogue One and the comments on here, basically like, yeah, so Guardians of the Wills is something that we see in Rogue One. Obviously, we have the 2 characters that are in the story, but at the same time, I don't know. It would have been interesting. I think had he gotten less flack about the prequels, I think that would have helped. But I like the prequels as well. I think the thing I don't like about the prequels, honestly, is some of the dialogue in the middle of episode 2. Other than that, I'm kind of good. Just the love stuff was a little weird, but that's something else.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. All right. Anything else about old Mr. Lucas? We haven't talked about him in a while.
Nope.
Okay, so there's some rumors. I don't know if you've heard any about this, but some rumors about Kevin Feige. I gotta make sure that this site is muted. Kevin Feige was supposed to replace Kathleen Kennedy. And again, it was a rumor, and it's been refuted as of a couple days ago. And I think this comes on the heels of Han Solo and it not making all the money as the other movies did, and people calling it a failure and whatever else. You haven't seen it yet, so I don't want to talk spoilers, right? You haven't seen it yet?
No.
Okay.
No. Like I said, you can ridicule me.
No. I'm not gonna pull your geek card yet. But if we get together next week and you haven't seen it, then I'll ridicule you.
No, the plan is either tomorrow or definitely by Sunday.
I'm messing with you, dude. We're not gonna get together soon anyway. So it'll be a week and a half. You got a week and a half. Okay.
Okay.
But anyway, so on the heels of that, obviously, not making as much money as everybody thought it was going to, or whatever else under the sun, people were saying, okay, maybe Kathleen Kennedy's not the person to head this whole thing, And there was some rumors out there about Kevin Feige, obviously, who is leading Marvel, to take over. But that has been refuted. It's not a thing, which I'm cool with. Honestly, I don't think Kathleen Kennedy's going to go away that easily and quickly. You know what I mean? They have a lot of stuff planned, so I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, so the biggest thing is I think that, call it, I don't think it's burnout necessarily.
Yeah.
But you release 2 Star Wars movies within 6 months of each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, and especially with these spin-offs, not every one of them is going to be a home run. It's just not going to happen. Right. And it's not like it's not making money. It's made money.
It actually has been, and I have a story later, it's been beating Deadpool 2, which is a great film.
So yes, it is. So I don't quite understand. I don't know. I guess it's the internet. It's the age of outrage. We have to be outraged about everything, and people need to be fired or changes need to happen. It's like sometimes you just gotta step back and look at what things really are. Because if you compare Solo to probably another 100 movies that are released this year, it's going to do better than those other 100 movies. It's
Right.
still made a ton of money. Like I said, I haven't seen it, so I don't know about the story, but yeah, I just think there might be a little bit of burnout, and a year and a half from now, and when the next when episode 9 comes out, we'll all be happy again. So
Right.
just roll with it.
And I think that's the other factor I didn't mention was one, well, there's two things. One, the fact that those two movies came out, Last Jedi and Han Solo, came out so close to each other, but at the same time, Last Jedi was really divisive. People either loved it or kind of hated it, right? And then they are talking about, Star Wars fatigue. And I don't know. I'm curious. Do you think that, well, maybe I'll ask you next week when we talk about it, but after you see Solo, but do you think that we need, and we are going to have a year and a half between now and episode 9, so we will have a little time, but do we need more time? Should they do a movie every other year instead of every year? I mean, are they trying to ride the, I don't know, Star Wars bandwagon is a bad metaphor, but are they trying to ride that too hard? Kathleen Kennedy and the crew. What do you think?
I think possibly they have. I know for myself, with the last 3 movies that have come out between 7, Rogue One, and 8, they all came out at about that 1 year mark, from each other, about a week before Christmas or 2 weeks before Christmas, and that was perfect. It's enough time to build up anticipation to the film, or any prequel books that might come along with it, and kind of build the anticipation, and then you're ready to go see it, and you see it within the first couple of days.
Right.
But even this, for a Star Wars movie, for me to be, 2 weeks after release and not see it, it might say a little something about, well, I know something else is coming. It's going to be there, and
I was actually surprised. I'm with you. I was surprised you hadn't seen it yet, but I try to see things on opening night just because that's the way I am, and I'm trying to do reaction shows and stuff like that. But if I didn't have the podcast, I don't know if I would have. I probably still would have gone. But I think every 6 months is obviously too soon. Every year was kind of nice, and the December thing was kind of cool, like you said, because I had some time off, and it was just kind of a tradition we had. And then now throwing Han Solo in May, and it's like, okay, now what are we doing?
Right. Yep. It's a little bit disruptive. Plus, there's and this summer there's so many good movies coming out. It's
for sure.
Everything's compacted together. So, hopefully they'll learn from it and give it at least a year between each release from now on.
Yeah, totally. So on that note, listeners, you have not heard our reaction show to Han Solo yet. You would have heard it if you're listening to this episode. You would have heard it by now. But definitely check it out. It's actually the official episode 138, which will come out, I don't know. As I'm recording this, it'll come out. But it is what it is. But that's Will and I talking. That's the last time you're going to hear Will's voice for a little bit if you're just tuning in. Mr. Skeen is going to join me for the summer, which I'm stoked about. So we'll try to record as regularly as possible. But, we have vacations planned and lives and stuff. But I don't want to put the show on hold all summer while Will's gone. And Skeen has been a longtime friend of the show and an awesome dude. So we're gonna keep going, man. It's going to be good. So next week, you're going to have seen Solo, and we're going to talk about it. And and so actually it works out well because reaction show, this show, and then us talking about it, that'll be about a month. That'll be good. I think that's good. Yeah. Anything else to say about that? I already talked about, although there has been some flack about Solo, it is staying ahead of Deadpool 2, which, did you see Deadpool 2?
I did. Loved it.
I loved it too. I love that movie, dude. I don't know. Will and I were kind of divided on it. I kind of liked the second one better. Only in that I honestly I don't know really why I liked it better. I liked it better mostly because it was just, you already knew what you were gonna get, and you got a lot more. The fourth wall breaking was good. There was a ton of other stuff that I just really liked. The humor in it. It was I feel like it was a little quicker, and a lot more subtle jokes between characters, which I liked. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I really liked it. Too.
Well, and I think one of the advantages when you get to number 2, number 3, number 4, whatever through a series is you don't have to spend time with the origin anymore.
Right.
where with the first episode, the first hour was origin. So,
Exactly.
now you can just go straight to action and the funnies. And I thought it was just as funny, if not actually funnier than the first one.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think the story was probably better in the first one, only because you did get the origin. But as far as humor goes, and as a reader of the Deadpool comics, the I feel like number 2 is a lot closer to what the comics are, in that all the stuff between the characters and just I don't know. I really like the second one, and the fact that they kind of hit you in the beginning with spoilers. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. 30 seconds if you're listening. Killing his girlfriend in the beginning, I think really was exactly what Deadpool is. He reacts from tragedy, and that is just something that is inherent in the character, and I think they did a really good job with that.
Mm-hmm. And I thought they did a good job going back to previous things that worked and actually made them just as funny, if not funnier, like with the baby legs. And,
Yeah.
It's like just like just like the hands from before. It was like, okay.
Exactly. And not only that, but that relationship with Colossus, I think, is hilarious. It's just like that. I don't know. I really, what do they call it? You have the straight man and the comedy relief. It's just that whole dynamic was just absolutely brilliant. I just think they did a really good job with that this time. So
Yeah, geek side story with Colossus. So
Yeah.
here's the thing from my past, my shame. Growing up, when I first started reading X-Men comics, Colossus was my favorite character. I loved that character. Now I look back on it and go, why in the hell did I like that character that much?
But it's funny because Colossus is very much like a Superman type character. He's all good. He uses his strength for good and wants to keep people on the up and up. And pairing him with someone like Deadpool is like such a reach. It works so well on the screen. I just think they did a really good job with that. I thought that was fun.
A good odd couple situation.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. So we talked about a lot of stuff. Deadpool, that's good. All right, so we're in Star Wars still. That's good. We didn't tangent.
Well,
No. Trust me, I like tangenting. So let's see. So we're starting to get into some of our E3 stuff for Star Wars. So we have a lightsaber powered Beat Saber game, and that's coming to PlayStation VR. I don't even know what this means, but I did take a look at it, and I think this is really interesting. Hold on one second. I'm going to see if I can do this in a sane way to where I don't have to reposition things. Hold on one second here. Let's check this out. Okay, so I didn't warn you. I'm going to play this really quick, and you'll be on a delay. You'll have to watch on your other screen. But I'm curious to see what you think of this. It's a beat game, like a music game, but it's pretty popular, but it's coming to PSVR. So I'm going to play it, and then let me know what you think. So, dude, I don't know if you're done or not,
awesome.
but
No, I got it. That looks awesome.
so I'll tell you what, I'm a big fan of like Guitar Hero and Rock Band and stuff like that. This looks, and what I've heard is this is addicting as all get out.
Yeah, it. You know what it kind of looked like to me is, oh, what's that game? Fruit Ninja.
Yeah.
We had to
Fruit Ninja.
slice
Yeah.
things. Yeah, yeah, where you had to slice the fruit in half and stuff, but with a lightsaber, which obviously makes it much cooler.
But it's to a beat, man, and that's what's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, no, that looks like fun.
No, it looks cool. So that's part of the Star Wars E3 news we've got. That I don't remember when that's coming out. I should look. But it's coming to PlayStation VR. That was one of the things announced. There's also going to be a Clone Wars expansion for Battlefront 2. And I don't know if you're playing Battlefront 2 or not. I know I'm not.
No.
But I think having a Clone Wars expansion is really interesting. I think that's just going to kind of open it up for some of the other stuff coming down as well. You know, I don't know. It looks like, what does it say? It says it says Clone Wars. It's going to make its debut this year, and it's going to start on the Battle of Geonosis. Yeah, and you're going to have Obi-Wan and Anakin and Grievous and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, man.
No, it looks pretty cool. My son plays Battlefront.
Oh, he does?
So yeah, so I'll have to show this to him and see what he thinks.
Nice. Well, let me know next week. So on that note, I think this is actually pretty cool. EA also announced Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Okay. Now this is, I'm curious to see what you think about this. So let me get to the top of this. So it says during E3 it said, game details weren't revealed too much, but it says it's going to be kind of dark. And it's going to say, where's the line I'm looking for? So it's from Respawn, the people that did Titanfall. And it says no specific release date. And there's no trailer or teaser footage. So there's really nothing about it yet. But it sounds like there was something. Oh, that's it. There it is. The game will take place between episode 3 and 4 and the time when the Jedi are being hunted. So
I like that.
I like the idea of kind of hunting Jedi.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
That makes me so happy, dude. What if I get to hunt Jedi? I mean, come on. That's going to be great. So I don't know, man. We'll kind of keep an eye on that one. It's called Jedi Fallen Order. And that is going to come from EA. And again, no release date, no trailer, no nothing cool. But, you know.
It says they haven't actually even confirmed the platforms yet.
No, they're very, very early on. And because I just thought this was funny. Because I like shoes and I work in retail. Check these out. So these are Kylo Ren sneakers. They got announced at the beginning of the month. I guess the company is called Pozu. But anyway, I just thought those were kind of cool. I don't know how much they'd be. Cool. Yeah. But I don't like high tops very much, but I think it's a very subtle kind of Star Wars meets, I don't know, grungy kind of style. So I think that was kind of cool. So
can you wear them with your shirt off?
Yeah, let's go with that. Yes.
Okay.
and it's important to wear it with your shirt off so that anybody knows that you are intimidating, or let's just go with shirtless. How about that?
Yeah, just shirtless.
Oh, that's good, dude. All right, man. So let's get into the last section, and we got a ton here, but we're gonna get into the usual roundup, and mostly it's E3 stuff. So, the first few things are just general things, but it looks like J.J. Abrams is gonna launch a new game company. I don't know how you feel about this.
If he can make games like he makes movies, I'll be fine with that.
Yeah, no, and it's gonna be called Bad Robot Games, surprisingly. And it says, per the Hollywood Reporter, it says Bad Robot is entered a relationship with Tencent, which I'm not familiar with. I think it's
Tencent.
Yeah, it's a game company, I guess. And they're going to produce original games on the market developed by Abrams and the team at Bad Robot. Warner Brothers might be involved as well, so who knows what kind of third-party kind of stuff might come through there as well. But I think this would be kind of cool. It says partner with well-known game developers to create both large-scale and indie titles for mobile, PC, and console games. So it's kind of cool, man. I like
Yeah,
Abrams.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
We're kind of fans, right?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Just a little bit.
And the sad news for me out of this E3 stuff, in regards to EA, sorry, in regards to BioWare, I guess, is that Mass Effect and Dragon Age are kind of on hold. From what I understand, they're going to come back to it at some point, but with Anthem and all this other stuff, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, they'll get back to it. I have a feeling because of the Andromeda kind of fallout, Dragon Age will come first is kind of what I'm gleaning from the article, but we'll see, man. I don't know. I like both those franchises a whole lot. I'm a bigger Mass Effect fan, but I love Dragon Age. I go back to Dragon Age all the time. So I don't know, man. Did you play either Mass Effect or Dragon Age?
No, I haven't played either of those, and I'm going to be selfish here and say, not that I'm glad any game, was getting put on hiatus, but considering it came from BioWare, I'm just glad it wasn't SWTOR.
No, totally, man. And I think that's important that SWTOR keeps going. I don't think unless they have a straight up Star Wars title to replace it. I don't know what Fallen Jedi's gonna be, but unless they have a straight up game to replace it, I don't think SWTOR's gonna go anywhere. Only in that all the Star Wars movies coming out every year and all the content coming out around Star Wars, they're not gonna stop. They have to have a place for people to go, and Battlefront 2 is not, in my opinion, not the place. So it's a community involved with SWTOR. So I think that's going to continue, hopefully. So
exactly. So you like Dragon Age, though?
I love Dragon Age. It's like, I don't know. Did you ever play KOTOR? Knights of the Old Republic?
Nope.
It's very much like you have a main character, but then you have this really in-depth kind of companion squad with you. And Dragon Age is kind of nice. Origins I liked better because the very first one, because you got to do it tactically. But the other versions of it, you control any party member at any time. And it's a single player game, but the story is amazing. It's really, really good. Dragon Age is great. So definitely check it out, dude.
Yeah, I may check that out. I've checked out Destiny and it's okay, but I think Dragon Age, maybe that might be a little bit better one for me.
Oh, good. You've played Destiny. I might ask you about that in a little bit. So
okay.
All right. So let's get to Nintendo. Nintendo's press conference dealy thing was, I think, yesterday. The main things I got from that, and you actually brought it up to me earlier, is this linking Switches thing with Mario Party. What did you think of that?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, have you played on a Switch before?
I haven't. I have a lot of students that have them, and they bring them into the classroom. It's so cool to be able to just bring your console wherever. I love the idea of it. I'm actually thinking about this Christmas picking one up. I think the kids would really get a kick out of it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because it just goes in this little tiny slot when you want to play it on the TV, and you just pull it out of there and put the controllers on the side, and away you go.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's pretty ingenious.
The thing I like about Nintendo is they've always been ahead of the curve with stuff like that. Yeah. So sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're fine. Yeah, but being able to put them together like that is pretty cool. Which I think if that takes off, you'll see more games kind of doing that type of thing.
Yeah, so what we're talking about, because we haven't really said it, is if you have more than one Switch, if you're playing something like Mario Party and you have 4 people, so you put the 2 screens next to each other and link them, it looked like from the trailer just like a little swipe of the hand. And I'm sorry I don't have the trailer up. I didn't get the link in here, but you link them together and you can go travel from one screen to the other and it's all linked together. I thought that was really cool, and you can kind of configure it any way you want depending on the game. I think that's pretty neat. So,
yeah, and I totally missed your cue that you wanted me to talk about that. So,
oh no, you're good, dude. You're good. No worries.
Rookie podcaster.
No, we're fine, dude. And then also, there's a huge announcement with Super Smash Brothers apparently, and they're having all the things like every franchise ever apparently. So that's gonna be great.
Yeah, that looked really cool.
And I love Smash Brothers.
It's funny. I've actually been listening to this kind of offbeat podcast. It's actually have you heard the podcast company called Wondery before?
No.
So one of their podcasts, it's called Business Wars, and they've done like Nike versus Adidas.
Oh, I like stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah, Beats versus Sony, that kind of thing. But
Okay.
their last one that they just finished up was Nintendo versus PlayStation,
Ooh.
and it literally starts back in the mid '80s, and then goes up to current day, and it's how they've tried to outdo each other and how they kind of put Sega out of business originally, and
Oh, yeah, I
just
remember
the
those
pricing
days.
wars and everything else. But it was always like all their big announcements were always at these shows, like E3. So when it comes out, like that's the moment for the gaming industry. It's like, oh, who's going to outdo who this week? But just kind of if you're interested in that kind of thing, it's Wondery, but it's called Business Wars is the name of the podcast.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
And I think it's interesting you said that, because with Xbox, it turns out like, okay, so Xbox, was it Xbox? No, it wasn't Xbox. It was it PlayStation? I can't remember, but somebody was hands down voted like just the worst panel. Actually, it might have been, you know what?
Nintendo.
It was EA, actually.
EA, okay.
EA got like the worst panel ever. I think I have it somewhere in here. Yeah, worst press conference ever. So it's interesting because I remember those days, Xbox versus PlayStation, and some of my friends played PlayStation. I was always an Xbox guy, but I was also always a Nike guy, and it's just one of those things. So it'd be interesting to kind of hear that conversation. I might have to check that out, dude. So, okay, so Xbox. Speaking of Xbox, see segue. So there's some stuff here. I'm not gonna play all of this stuff. There's a couple I really want to. But it looks like there's a new Xbox currently in development, which actually was kind of surprising. I feel like that was the only one announced that they were actually working on their next console. I think they're trying to beat up PlayStation. I think PlayStation 5's in the works too, but it says, in other words, Microsoft is trying to one up the PlayStation 5 in power. So that's kind of what they're working on right now. I'm yet to buy a next gen console, and by the time these come out, I'll be 2 back. So here we are.
Well, you just wait for the next one,
Yeah.
and then you'll be current.
I think that's time. I think I'm just gonna do that. I might get a Switch though, because like I said, I think that'd be cool. All right, man. So Crackdown. Did you ever play Crackdown?
No.
Okay, so I'm not even gonna bother with that. There was a Crackdown 3 trailer. I've played both Crackdowns. Crackdown 2 came out a long time ago, actually, and it wasn't even on. I guess it was Xbox 360. But yeah, it's been out a while. I have a link in the show notes to that. But I do want to play the Halo one because I love Halo. So here we are. I haven't bought the last. I think I'm a Halo back, if that's even a thing. Can I be a Halo back?
A Halo back? Is that like a holler back?
Yeah. There we go. So I'm gonna play this one real quick, and we'll check this out because I love Halo. Oops, that's not right. There we go.
dynamite graphics.
right?
Wow, that looks pretty interesting. I might actually play that game.
What's cool about it though? Oh, let me get my other thing up here. Hold on, where's my dealie? There we go. What's interesting though, man, is that Halo, for me, was like my favorite shooter for a long, long time. I played Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach. The only one I didn't play a lot of was Halo 4. Halo 5, I think, came out. Now we have Halo Infinite. So, I don't know. I kind of fell out of shooters, but I love the world and I love the stories. I read some of the books. It's just a really neat world. So I'm hoping that goes well because I like that.
Now, is that an MMO as well?
No, it's a shooter.
Just a shooter?
Yeah. But the story is always so good with Halo, dude. So if you only want to buy it for the solo story, you know, the multiplayer has been really rich for a long time. They actually had a really good multiplayer map builder that they came out with years ago called Forge, which was really cool. So yeah, man, I like I said, I'm a Halo. I loved Halo, and I used to have friends over. We did Halo LAN parties and stuff like that. I just loved it, but that's why I wanted to check out the trailer. I mean, I knew there wasn't going to be anything more than that, but it's just kind of cool.
No, it looks cool.
Yeah. Did you ever play Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, I played the first one
Okay.
that came out. Yeah, and I actually played it with my oldest son some, and I really liked it. But I also love Disney stuff, so it was kind of a, you know, I enjoyed the gameplay and just the idea that it was Disney characters that you were playing with.
Right.
How about you?
No, yeah, I played the first one a little bit. I love the idea. I'm a big Final Fantasy guy, and I love that a Final Fantasy character was kind of at the forefront of it. I'm not going to show this trailer because it's a few minutes long, but there is a link in the show notes to it. I really want to play Kingdom Hearts. I just really do. I just never do. If that makes any freaking sense.
No, it does. Well, look, we spend a lot of time adulting.
Yeah,
and working, and
it's
the
adulting getting in the way.
Yeah, there's only so much time in the day, you know. So, it has to be good to make the hit list. So
exactly.
Now, is this just going to be on Xbox or is it going to be on other platforms?
I'm not sure. It was that's a good question. I know it was on PlayStation exclusively for a long time, and now it's saying, let me look here.
It was during Microsoft Xbox.
It was during the Xbox thing, yeah. Official PlayStation blog. Maybe I have in the wrong section. Maybe I think it's just a PlayStation thing.
No, it actually, in the article it says during Microsoft's Xbox E3 briefing. So maybe it's just on Xbox.
Huh. Cool. All right.
Maybe I'll have to buy an Xbox.
Yeah, maybe.
Have an Xbox, a PS4, and a Switch.
The next one has to do with a game that was one of the hardest games, if not one of the hardest game I've ever played, I feel like, is Battletoads. You ever play Battletoads back on the Super Nintendo?
Nope.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, so this game is ridiculously difficult, but awesome. Basically, it's exactly toads that kick and punch and stuff. So apparently we're getting a new Battletoads game in 2019. I'm not going to show the trailer thing because it is basically from the briefing, so it's not an official trailer, but it's kind of cool to see that coming back. I'm pretty excited about it, only in that Battletoads is, I still remember when you pause it, it just had this very distinct music. It was like, and it was like this really just, I don't know, I'll never be able to do it. I'll have to pull it up if I'm going to do it. But
so am I reading this correct that the characters are Zitz, Rash, and Pimple?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. All right.
No, it's
okay.
The game is unbelievably addictive, fun, and really difficult. At least the first one was. I don't know how hard this one will be, but there was one level where you had to like ride these little hover bike things down it's a side scroller, and you're going down a thing, and one mistake, you had to start all the way over. It was the most frustrating game, but just amazing. So I want to actually, I don't know how long this is, I don't remember, but I kind of want to play this only in that it's going along with the times and where we're at right now. I'm not going to play a 4-minute one, But okay, so did you ever play Gears of War?
No.
Okay, so
I'm terrible. I tell you, I'll get my background like on most of the older video games. I played a ton of sports games, especially baseball and football games.
yeah,
Gran Turismo, those kind of things. So
I
that's
love
where
Gran
like
Turismo.
yeah, that's where like my old background on games came from. I
Nice.
just kind of stuck to the sports type stuff, but then kind of switched over as time went along.
Yeah, no worries. So Gears of War, I actually started. What was the name? Cliff Bleszinski was the guy who started Epic Games way back in the day, who started with Gears of War. And this was another one of those franchises I followed from the beginning. I played the first few. I didn't play 4, and this is 5. But there's a female lead this time. And I have a link in the show notes that talks about, kind of the internet reacting to it. The trailers for this are really, really cool. The game engine's cool. Just like Halo, the world is really rich. So if you're ever interested in checking out Gears of War, it's definitely worth checking out, dude. But people are genuinely stoked about it. I think having a female lead makes sense at this point. There have been female characters, but you're actually playing the female because you play the main character in Gears of War, and you've always played this kind of big burly dude. So I think it kind of makes sense at this point. So
yeah, actually, kind of it's funny. We were talking about the female lead. That was actually one of the things that put PlayStation up over Nintendo, according to that Business Wars podcast, was Tomb Raider, because they took a chance with Tomb Raider with Lara Croft being the lead,
yep.
And having a female, and Nintendo had passed on it, and it turned out to be one of the things that helped. So,
and I loved Tomb Raider back in the day. Yep.
So,
all right, man. So that's Xbox. Let's get to PlayStation. Speaking of female leads, okay. I'm not gonna play this whole thing, and in fact, well, I'm gonna do this because the beginning of this is so freaking nuts. This is an 11-minute deal. I'm not gonna play 11 minutes of it. I'm just gonna play the first. So the first 2 minutes or so is like the story part, and this is The Last of Us Part 2. I don't know. I never played the first one, but I'm sure have you heard of The Last of Us?
Yeah,
Again?
actually, my oldest son played it, and I saw him playing it for a while,
Okay.
so I'm kind of familiar with it. Yep.
Okay, so check this out. This, speaking of female leads, will be interesting. Here we go.
Went out one night to make a little round. I met little Sadie and I shot her down. Went back home, jumped into bed, 44 pistol under my head. I woke up in the morning about 9:30. The hacks and the buggy standing in line. Jets and gamblers standing around, taking little Sadie to bed. I began to think we'd do that town. I grabbed my hand and I ran. Made up the plunge just a little too slow. They overtook me in Jericho.
I hate these things.
Tell me about it.
Your old man really laid into me today.
What happened?
Another big lecture about my patrols. Don't go here, don't go there. It's funny how involved he gets whenever you're scheduled to go out.
Yeah.
She's putting on quite the show.
I give you guys 2 weeks until you're back together.
Not gonna happen. She, say something to you?
Make it 1 week. Ellie! Hey! What took you so long? Oh, I'm here, aren't I?
Dina?
Jesse.
Hey, don't forget we leave at first light, so get some rest.
Yes, sir.
You're such a dick. Come on. Why don't you start with me? Okay, I have a very serious question for you. How bad do I smell? Like a hot pile of garbage? Oh, okay. Oh, how about that? Gross. You love it. Every guy in this room is staring at you right now. Maybe they're staring at you. Or not. Maybe they're jealous of you. I'm just a girl, not a threat. Oh, Ellie. I think they should be terrified of you.
Wow.
Right? I was trying
Wow.
to laugh until I showed you that last part, but yeah. So not only do we got the female lead thing covered and everything else, but then throwing in the brutality of the gameplay. I actually hold on. I actually watched that game that thing live. Everybody in the chat was just like, what's going on? What's happening? And then like the gameplay, it's very much like almost not Assassin's Creed like, but sort of, where she was sneaking around and taking people out and trying to be noticed, and then it flashes back to that dance scene at the end. It was a trip, man. It's a crazy way to start a game. I don't know. It makes me want to go back and play the first one just because I've heard The Last of Us is a great game, but
It is. From what I saw, it was a good game, and I'm interested in that one too. More money.
no, for sure. It's like, okay, so where can I spend my money today? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's see. I've already got Kingdom Hearts. Oh, I got that twice. Okay, so it looks like it is going to come out for PlayStation 4. I have a Pirates of the Caribbean trailer for that, apparently. I wonder how long that is. Give me a sec. That's kind of long. But anyway, so it looks like it's going to be out for both, so that's good. The one I've been leading up to, and I don't know if you play Assassin's Creed, but I personally am a big fan of Assassin's Creed. They always do something down in San Diego for it. I play and own most of them except for the last one or two. Once a game starts coming out every year, I have a hard time keeping up, but I love the gameplay. I write about assassins. I love assassins, so of course the game appeals to me. But this one takes place in ancient Greece, where you're basically a Spartan. So you got to check this shit out, dude. This is pretty cool. Hold on.
How can a child save us all if he's sentenced to die? Tell me, Nikolaos. Tell me before you let our son go.
Where we begin does not define who we will become. Before you, I see a path. Built by friendship and family. Love and loss. War and bloodshed.
You were sent by the gods to protect this world.
You carry the blade of Leonidas. Act like it.
As you write your odyssey across the mountains and the seas, remember, the fate of Greece journeys with you.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Watch the official gameplay walkthrough.
Okay, that looked really cool.
Right?
I love the trident going through the guy.
I know, right?
That's pretty cool.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, man. Assassin's Creed, the gameplay, just, I mean, I hate to say it, but the ways, the myriad of ways you can kill people is just so much fun, dude. So much fun. Speaking of, I don't know if you've ever played in the other ones, but it's definitely worth, any Assassin's Creed game is worth it. So good.
Yeah, I played some of the Black Flag.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only one I meant to pick up on PC when it came out, and there was so many bugs, I ended up returning it, and I never bought it again. So I might go back and pick it up before this one comes out. But so Hitman, I don't know if you play the more modern Hitmans, but I watch a lot of. Well, there's you know me, I listen to a lot of Sans Pants stuff, and they do Let's Plays, and one of the things they play is Hitman a lot. And so I've watched the first one quite a bit. Like, they play the game and talk smack about it and stuff. It looks like Hitman 2 is going to be happening in Miami, which is going to be kind of cool. I'm excited about it. I would like to pick up Hitman. It's very much the kind of game I like to play. I just don't have time to play them.
Right.
So maybe one day.
We could only get like 28 hours in a day.
Well, yeah. Just give me 3 extra hours, maybe even 2. So, hey, Blay, welcome. It's sort of I pick E3 stuff and talk about, but we're almost done with E3 stuff. But welcome, dude. Glad you're here. So, dude, so Hitman, I already talked about EA's press conference not getting very good press. You know, it is what it is.
Well, you think all that's backlash from the loot crates from before?
Yeah,
and saved it up, or
they're really having a hard time, man. They're having a hard time kind of clawing their way out of that on the heels of, you know, with Mass Effect 3 and or Andromeda and all that stuff. I mean, EA's having a hard time right now, I think, press wise. Their games are still selling, but you know, we'll see kind of how they pivot from here. Honestly, we'll have to kind of stick around and wait. But I kind of strategically put this one in here last before we get to just some geek stuff and before we get out of here. But Anthem is something we've heard a lot about. I don't know how interested you've been in this. This is BioWare's baby, where a lot of the resources have been in the last couple years, I'd say. So I don't know. Any initial thoughts on this before we watch this thing?
No, let's watch this trailer. I haven't seen it yet, so
cool. Check this out. It's pretty cool. And I got a couple follow-ups to it. Hold on one second.
The gods vanished and left our world in chaos, creating, altering, destroying. The Anthem is all that remains.
There's a storm coming. These walls can't protect us forever.
wants to destroy us all.
That looks cool.
Right? Yeah, man. I just think so. You've played Destiny, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now Destiny, if I'm not mistaken, it's an always online deal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're all. Yeah, at least I played on the PC, so.
Okay.
Yep, it's always online.
And everybody in the game is a what you call it, right? Another player, right?
Correct. I mean, there's a solo mode to it.
Okay.
Kind of, story mode to it. But then once you progress so far, pretty much everything you do is, battles or crusades.
Okay.
That they have.
I got you. So some of the backlash, well, not backlash, but just the logistics of this game, I guess there's not going to be an offline mode, obviously, which is very much like what you were just saying. And obviously, they're going to do pre-order bonus. I have a link in the show notes to that. I don't really care about that. But the main thing that people are frustrated with is that if you're a solo player, they're thinking that you won't get as much out of the game as if you want to play with other people. Because everybody in the game, any other person you see in these suits is going to be another player, another human person in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I give the game a shot first. I mean, that's the way I look at it. It's like I'm not going to be too concerned with it because I'll definitely, download it and try the, I don't know if they'll have a free to play mode to start out and see if you like it or not. But,
well, I'm actually going to try to get into the beta, just because I think it's interesting. I would like to try it out. But for me, I don't really care. I always find a way to play solo in a multiplayer setting. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm not worried about running into other people in the world. Like, I haven't yet to group up with anybody in ESO, but, like, I'm just playing the game. I'm learning the game. I'm not going out of my way. In fact, I am going out of my way not to, look at guides or anything else. I just want to explore the game as I play.
Explore and figure it out.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot. I think I'm a big BioWare fan, obviously, so I'm actually excited about Anthem. I know there's a lot of backlash out there for where they're going with it, but they've already confirmed they're not doing loot boxes, so people don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. But I am curious to see, how it is out the gate. And honestly, I might pre-order. I haven't bought a game in so long, dude. The last game I pre-ordered, I can't even tell you. And I used to pre-order every game I was interested in for years and years. So I still have a couple of my Halo collector things behind me somewhere. So you know what I mean? Like I've been doing this stuff for a long time, and this game I'm intrigued enough. BioWare always has an immersive world, so I'm intrigued enough to check it out, I think. So
right. The first thing I thought of though when I saw the suit flying across there, I was like, oh, look, HK-55's in this game.
Nice
exactly
one,
what it looked like.
It did. You're right. And do you play D&D?
I used to when I was a teenager, but haven't played since then.
I'm gonna gloss over this then because I didn't have much to say about it anyway. But there's a nonfiction bestseller D&D book on the list, and it has to do with and I'm actually thinking about picking it up. It's called Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, and it it talks about a lot of the great conflicts in the D&D multiverse. So if you're a DM like me and you're looking into trying to expand your worlds, that's something worth checking out. I might check it out just because I love stuff like that. But I'm a bit of a geek. But here we are.
Hey, what?
I know. News to everyone. I am a geek. I'm going to say it here right now on this podcast and come right out and say it. All right.
It's so funny because what somebody called my 14-year-old son within our family, like, oh, you're kind of nerdy. He's like, no. I'm a geek.
I'm a geek.
There's a big difference between nerd and geek.
I agree, man. When anybody says, oh, that's so nerdy, I was like, no. That's geek culture, bro. Don't get it. Geek. Don't get it twisted. All right. All right. So that's so funny, dude. All right. So let's we're out of E3 stuff. I'm excited about all these games, except I know I won't have any time to play any of them. And it's very sad, but here we are, man. Well, I'll, hopefully we'll have some more news next week, about some of this other stuff. There's always some, I don't want to say Fallout. Oh, speaking of Fallout, why is Fallout not in here? Did we skip it?
Yeah, I thought there's a Fallout.
Oh shit, we totally skipped it. Hold on. That was the
Fallout 76.
I know we were forgetting something that I was excited about. Hold on 1 second. And that's no. Okay, so the things I was saying about Anthem, I superimposed onto from Fallout. I think it's still true with Anthem, but Fallout's what I was really trying to talk about. Hold on a second. We almost moved on without talking about Fallout. Are you a Fallout guy, sir?
I have seen it. I have not played it.
I love it. I love Fallout. I have played all the Fallouts. And this, so what I was saying about Anthem, whether it's true or not, I might cut some of that out if I find out it's not true. But some of the flack for Fallout is exactly what I was saying about how it's kind of going away from just a straight single-player game to everybody in the world is someone else and that kind of thing, which I don't think it's the end-all be-all. So if you're listening to this and I didn't cut any of it out, all the things I said about Anthem are really what I meant about Fallout, if that makes any sense. So let's watch this trailer. How about that?
Sounds good.
Years after our great nation began, we gathered together to honor the completion of Vault 76. This sprawling underground shelter may have been engineered by Vault Tech, but it was built by you. So that if the bombs do come, our way of life will endure.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is all there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like the breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home.
For when the fighting is stopped and the fallout has settled, you must rebuild. Not just walls, not just buildings, but hearts and minds, and ultimately, America itself.
Country roads, take me home, country roads.
In Vault 76, our future begins.
That looks interesting too.
That makes me so happy, dude. I gotta say, I love Fallout. Actually, I've been playing Fallout 4 amongst other things, and I don't know, man, and that's what I was saying earlier about Anthem, which I think is still true for Anthem. But with Fallout, the issue is that it's always been a single player deal, and they feel like they're trying to make it almost not an MMO, but just more like you can join up with your friends, you can do this, you can do that, or play it solo. But people are feeling like the solo part of Fallout is going to go away with this, but we'll see. I'm really excited about Fallout 76 out of all the stuff, and I almost forgot to talk about it, so I guess I was really excited about it.
Okay. Yeah, Blay is asking, when is Fallout 76 going to take place in relation to the rest of the series? Did I not read something that it's a prequel?
Yeah, I think it is really early on. I'm not sure where it falls in the storyline, Blade, to be honest with you, man. But I like that it's taking place in America. I like that it's taking place in obviously West Virginia or whatever. But I think it's gonna, from what I understand, it's gonna be like 4 times as large as Fallout 4, which Fallout 4 is huge. And it says, and there was another article I don't have in the show notes where it says, well, you're going to have not hundreds or thousands of people kind of around you, but like dozens. So it's like you can join up with your friends easily, but you're not going to be inundated with like an MMO number of people. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does. It says, okay, so it's 4 times the size of Fallout 4 and is a prequel to all the other Fallout games.
So totally full on prequel. Yeah. Yeah, good luck, Blay. You have hundreds of hours ahead of you if you're starting with 1. I personally feel like Fallout 3 was awesome. New Vegas, I think, is my favorite, and Fallout 4 is a close second. Mostly, I just spent more time in Vegas. I didn't have time to spend in Fallout 4, but I still have Fallout 4 and go back to it periodically. So maybe I'll go back to it before this comes out. So I love the Fallout series. Bethesda, from what I understand from E3, before we transitioned fully out of E3, had the biggest showing, or the biggest positive feedback, I guess I should say.
The best reception.
Yeah,
there.
Best reception, exactly. And Bethesda's a great company, man. They do some really awesome stuff. So I'm really excited to see. Actually, I'm gonna open this link up because they did announce a bunch of other stuff, and I just want to at least give them Rage 2, Doom Eternal, Prey, some VR stuff. Oh, Starfield was the other one. And Elder Scrolls Blades. That's gonna be a mobile game, an Elder Scrolls mobile game, which is supposed to come out, I think, like next month. Starfield, there was really nothing. I'm not going to show the trailer, but it's almost that it's basically Bethesda going into space. So think like, Fallout or whatever in space, which I think, or Elder Scrolls in space, which I think is pretty cool. I did watch the trailer to that. It's just a teaser. There's really not much to it, but it's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, Blay, we talked about Nintendo earlier. They're gonna have some cool stuff. And also Elder Scrolls 6 was announced from Bethesda as well, and that looks like I'm not sure when that's gonna come out. But there was a teaser trailer for that too. I'm not going to play all of it. We're running long right now. But Bethesda is one of my just all-time favorite gaming companies, and I think they are going to have some really good stuff coming up. So,
if we really wanted to shorten the show, we just should have gone over the stuff we didn't like.
Yeah, it's like, so the show's over. So thanks for tuning in. No, I'm just kidding. All right, man. So let's jump out of E3 stuff and just blaze through the rest of this, and then I have some San Diego stuff to do, and then we're gonna get out of here. So we have some Aquaman stuff. I don't know, I guess Aquaman's coming, right? There's supposed to be a trailer soon. I don't think it's happened yet. When I posted this when I made this was a couple days ago. It hasn't come up yet, so that should happen soon. We'll see.
Yeah, I haven't seen it come out yet.
And then let's see, did you put these in here?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
All right, so the first one was Jeff Johns is going to be stepping aside from DC Entertainment. with nothing major there except for the Jim Lee, who is another DC person,
Yeah.
will be taking over. There it has nothing to do with creative content or anything like that. It's just kind of switching things over because he's been in charge of it for about 15 years. So just putting somebody fresh in there, but they're literally going from one really talented writer to another really talented writer. So you shouldn't see much of an effect, but it maybe a fresh perspective on things.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that. I'm wondering if I don't know. There's a lot of speculation out there about what DC needs to do. Excuse me, and I'm wondering if this is the beginning of it.
It could be. I mean, there's some things that need to be changed because obviously they have not been received well in the movies. So I thought Wonder Woman was great, but really they haven't hit big home runs the way that Marvel has. So
and we have we have Aquaman, we have Wonder Woman 2, and isn't there one other one slated?
The Flash.
The Flash, yeah. Okay, so yeah.
And then
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good.
All right. So the next one is DC is in about a month they're going to start their own streaming service.
That's soon, huh?
Yeah. And it's going to include comics. So I'm really I'm sorry, late August of this year. So I'm still a month and a half. So so everything that they do, because they do a lot more than Marvel does as far as animation wise, as far as movies are concerned. So it'll be interesting to see what all goes.
Well, they've got they've got the Vixen animated series, and they've got a lot of stuff they can put on there. I'm very curious, dude. I doubt this is an accident, but they're literally putting this out a few months maybe before Disney puts their streaming service into effect.
Right.
So
maybe trying to get be ahead of the bandwagon.
Yeah, at least get some of that revenue that is going to end up ultimately probably going to Disney, but it depends on what they have on there. That could be pretty strong, a nice contender for Disney. I don't know.
Right. I don't know if it'll just because of the huge catalog Disney's going to have with everything that they've bought up. I don't know how it will compete. I hope it does. Don't get me wrong. I hope they're both out there, but we'll see. It does say they currently have 4 announced live action shows in development.
Wow.
Which is Swamp Thing, Titans, Doom Patrol, and Metropolis.
Okay.
So, and then 2 animated series, which is Young Justice Outsiders, and then the one that could probably be a hit for them is Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
so,
that's gonna be big.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm anxious to see how this launches and how it goes.
Yeah, man. So speaking of anticipating things, I don't think when did I put this in here? Today's Thursday. The Captain Marvel trailer did not drop, right?
I have not seen it.
I haven't either.
I've been very, very busy.
Hopefully we're not behind the times. I'm going to check one source while we're talking. But so the thing I have in here, and I might just cut this out completely, but is that there might be a Captain Marvel trailer coming soon. Considering if you've seen, obviously, Avengers Infinity War, there was in the credit sequence that was alluded to that, that's coming. So yeah, I don't see anything on here, but we might be getting that soon. That might be kind of cool, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that maybe just to see what's going on, I guess. So
I don't know. Is it weird? Is it weird that I'm looking forward to it a lot? Mostly because I'm not as familiar with the character, but the fact that it's happening in the 80s makes me really happy.
Oh yeah, me too.
Or is it the 90s? Either way, I don't care.
I think it's the 90s.
It's the 90s, but still,
it doesn't matter.
That's fine with me. When you grow up in those decades, it's like, oh, that's my people. That's my time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, dude.
Especially now that music is considered classic.
Exactly, right? Could you imagine? Yep. Oh my god, I listen to that stuff all the time, man. All the time. So it looks like Leah Thompson is pitching a Howard the Duck reboot, to Marvel. I still don't know how they would do this. I mean, obviously, at the end of what was it, Guardians 1, You had the little Howard the Duck nod, right? And he was captured by the Collector, etc. Right?
Right.
But how do you feel about a Howard the Duck reboot?
Look, the first movie was so bad.
So bad, dude. So bad.
I think occasionally
it makes me sad how bad it was.
Right. It's like, let's not revisit the sadness that it was. You just move on.
But I mean,
plus, if you were associated, because she was part of the first one, if you were associated with something that was so bad the first time,
right?
Why would you want to go back to it a second time?
Now, the only reason I'm thinking is, do you think they could make it a, if they did a CG character, then maybe it wouldn't be so off-putting? Because I feel like that man in a rubber suit was weird, man. You know, and obviously they did a kind of CG version of it for that little extra. I don't know. It's bad. I don't know. It's just bad overall.
I can just think of 100 characters I'd rather see on the screen than Howard the Ducks.
I hear you. Yeah, they could make him a Showblade. I think you're right, but in the thing here is I think they're talking about a movie, but yeah, a show might be better. Maybe an animated series would be cool too. They'd get away with that. I don't know. And the last thing I have in Marvel is Cloak and Dagger, which got announced recently. The first 2 episodes apparently are up on Hulu, which I might check out later this evening because we're almost done. So
let me know what you think.
Yeah, I will. And so I'll watch that, and you watch Solo, and then we come back next week, and Blade will berate us for watching neither. So.
All right, fantastic.
All right, man. So the last thing, as I always do, especially this time of year, is talk about San Diego Comic-Con stuff. And I know I've kept you a while tonight, man, so I appreciate you bearing with me. But
it's all good. I'm having fun.
Again, I appreciate you filling in. It's been a lot of fun. I can't believe I almost forgot to talk about Fallout. Oh, my God. It's embarrassing. All right, so let's talk about there's some really cool exclusives that are coming out for Comic-Con this year. I have a link in the show notes to Hasbro and Factory Entertainment. But the one I wanted to throw up in the chat, just because it's so freaking cool looking, is a Gwenpool, a San Diego Comic-Con Gwenpool animated statue. So I'm just going to throw this up in the dealio if I can get my computer to work. And things are freezing. Hold on. Hold, please. There we go. Check that out, dude.
That looks cool.
Isn't that awesome? So that's the kind of stuff I like to find at Comic-Con. So, exclusives come in all shapes and sizes at Comic-Con, but that one's pretty cool. Factory Entertainment, the one awesome thing, and actually I bought a couple things from them last year. The one thing I want to get this year is I always try to buy a bottle opener from them because it's just cool. So check this out. Hold on. I'm going to slap this in here. You'll get a kick out of this one. Last year I bought a Hand of the Queen one. This is this is a Jurassic World Raptor Claw bottle opener.
All right.
Isn't that awesome?
Very much so.
Yeah, so that's the deal there. So there's giveaways. There's some It stuff, which I don't want to deal with because that's terrifying. There was something else. Oh, yeah, these are cool. I actually got my wife. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I got my wife the pack they had last year, which was actually a set of 4 wine stoppers. And there were 4 different houses. So this is House Sigil wine stoppers. This is a set of 2, which is pretty cool. But Factory Entertainment, we actually got a booth tour from them last year. They had these plushies, or at least a version of these plushies last year as well. They always do some really cool stuff. And this we talked about earlier in the year, but this keychain, Back to the Future, Time Circuit keychain. So that's a really cool company. They do a ton of awesome stuff. So another reason for you to come down, my friend. So
absolutely. Yeah. Next year.
All right. Next year's your year, man. All right. So quick news. There's a lot of Comic-Con news about what companies are coming, which are not coming, and that kind of thing. So Impractical Jokers is going to do their block party again in Petco park, which is awesome. We did not get to go last year, but I plan to go this year. Usually the Impractical Jokers show up. I've actually met all those guys before a few years ago. They're really cool. I listen to all their shows, and I love those guys. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, they're so super funny.
Yeah, I met them. Was it 2 years ago? Before they did their big block party, they like rented out one of the restaurants there, and we walked through, and they did a bunch of stuff, and we got a bunch of stuff signed from them, and that was really, really cool. So check that out. They're already wrapping the trolleys and stuff, Family Guy, and a bunch of other things. They think there's going to be an online lottery system this year for autographs, which I think is going to be considerably better. What was it? Last year, Will and I stood in line for, I think, almost 4 hours. And
holy smokes.
Maybe 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours. All the way down to the marina. Finally got inside. And by the time we got there, we got a ticket to come back like 5 hours later for a signing for the Timeless TV show, which was cool. I got to meet Mekhi Phifer, and it was like a really cool thing, but you don't know what you're getting into. So they kind of experimented with it at WonderCon a month or two ago, and I think that they're going to roll it out this year. So that's the speculation. So I think that's going to be better. You can kind of put in for it, and you don't have to spend all day in line to hope to get what you want. You'll know ahead of time, which I think is super important. So anyway, excuse me, that said, here's what's not coming, which is sad. Nerd HQ is not returning to San Diego Comic-Con, which we spent several years at. They weren't there last year, and I don't think they're going to come back, is what I understand. And that is, I want to say Zachary Levi's deal, but it's not. Is that the wrong guy? No, I think that's right. Let me open this up and find out.
Yeah, it is Zachary
Levi, yeah. And it's sad because last year was kind of a surprise, like right before. And then I kind of knew he wasn't coming back this year, but I was hoping they were kind of like trying to figure out for next year, but I don't think they're coming back. Now, this just dropped today. HBO will be skipping San Diego Comic-Con as well, which means there won't be an offsite for Westworld or Game of Thrones, which has been at least a 5 or 6 hour wait to maybe get in, wrapped around the block out in the Gaslamp district. Which is kind of crazy. So I don't know what offsites are going to take all of those lines away, but Convention Center is going to be crowded this year, I have a feeling. And what else do we got here? There was something else. Hold on, one more thing. Oh, Outlander. And Sci-Fi is skipping as well, which is a big deal because Sci-Fi usually takes over one of the restaurants down there. And Outlander usually walks around. I don't know if you've ever seen the show, but they walk around in kilts and bagpipes, and it's always a big thing. And it looks like they're skipping this year too. So I don't know, man. It's getting sad. I don't know what's going on down there.
You think it's just too crowded at Southern, or do you think that booth space or the cost to put some of these events on is just?
I think it's a combination of things, man. I think with something like Outlander, you have to have a group of people that you hire for multiple days to wander around and promote your stuff. Same with Sci-Fi. They did a bunch of that stuff last year. I honestly don't know. I think the other thing has to be is that it depends on what programming they have on those stations too coming up. If Outlander is not getting the ratings, maybe it's going to get canceled. I don't know. They're not going to promote it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so many different, a big combination of things, but also the crowds and the cost are got to be the big one, you know?
Well, hopefully, when I come next year.
Yeah. When you come next year, all the things will be back.
Yeah, right.
All right. So let's talk about what is coming and what is cool. There's going to be a Ready Party 1 party. And that's going to be the 18th, which I believe is the Wednesday, from 8 to midnight. It's $15 to $50, and it's basically a tribute to Ready Player One, which I am excited about. That sounds pretty darn cool. It's going to be right in the heart of the Gaslamp, at the Flux nightclub, which is where we went last year to where Geek and Sundry and Nerdist had their Crack and Rum party. which is a pretty cool nightclub. So I might have to check that out. Walk the blue carpet via. Okay, all right. This might be my jam. That might be my Wednesday night thing. I'm excited. I feel like I'm talking to myself about this, but I'm excited.
No, no. I enjoy listening about it. Thinking,
I'm
it'd
joking.
Be fun to be there.
I'm joking. Yeah, no, I'm really curious to see how this is gonna work out. So next week I'm gonna look into this because next week I'm gonna come back and talk about that for sure because that's exciting.
Plus, I'll be honest with you. When you guys go and you send stuff out when you tweet on things, or I think was it Rednet last year during the Puck Cantina?
Oh yeah,
Periscoped it or whatever. I tune into that stuff. I live vicariously through you while you're there, so I love hearing about this stuff.
And then next year you won't have to; you'll just be there. So
exactly, and you'll be like, I think you've had enough beer, John.
Yeah,
I think you've had enough to drink, John.
No, that's not a thing, John. It's not a thing. There's not enough beer. It's only enough beer. Okay, so I'll tell you what. Last year I had enough beer when we had a show, and this year we're not doing it. We were going to shows every single night. It was Kevin Smith. It was this. It was that. And then what was it? The Fat Man on Batman show. The last night was Saturday night or whatever. And I was done. I was asleep halfway through. I just couldn't do it. And that was not only too much beer, but just a long week. But so it looks like the Goldbergs, which do you watch that show? I love that show.
No.
Okay,
nope.
So it's an amazing show. It's great. But it looks like they're coming to San Diego Comic-Con this year. So I'm excited to see that. I don't know what way, shape, or form, if they're doing a panel, if they're doing an offsite. I don't know yet, but I'm stoked about it. So here we are. That's it, my friend.
All right.
Anything else you want to add, buddy? I appreciate you joining me tonight.
No, man.
I kept you longer than I promised.
No, I don't care. It's all good, man. It's 12:44 a.m.
I was gonna say it's 12. It's almost 10 o'clock my time. I know it's hella late for you. All right,
no,
so
it's all good. I'm having a good time. This is better than sleeping anyway. So
this is great, man. And we'll have to figure out when we're gonna do it next week, dude. Because like I said, Will's gone for a bit. So I appreciate you being here, my friend. So
well, thanks for having me.
All right, so thanks for tuning in The Usual Podcast. If you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I am at Darth Pops on Twitter, and John is either at I am not Will Griggs or John R. Skeen. We're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play. So find us, share us, and like us, and tell your friends. You can support the show either audibletrial.com/usualpodcast. Buy merch, teespring.com/store/usualpodcast. And of course, the best way to support us is patreon.com/theusualpodcast. And we thank everybody who does that. I apologize this summer. We won't have as many things coming out to you, but I will do my darndest because I'm solo running this bad boy. So anything else, my friend?
Other than that, I think everybody should definitely have a fun.
Oh, by the gods, have a fun. And we'll see you all next week. All right,
later, everybody.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate you.
Oh, no problem, man. This is great. I had a good time doing this.
I seriously cannot believe I almost forgot freaking Fallout. I was like, there's another game. How did I miss? I just can't believe I glossed over it. That was so stupid.
Well, it's because we're going down that outline. It's boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and like it was only 2 lines, and I had some other stories in there, and I totally spaced it. Oh, my dog just walked in, so I guess we're done. All right, dude.
Hey,
so
dog.
yeah, I know, right? Hi, Dag. How you doing? All right, so what was I going to say? So I'm going to stop all of this stuff. I have your recording on this end. I think it'll be fine either way. But if you could just send out, you know what? I'll send you a link to the file. I'm going to put all this stuff in on Google Drive, and you can just slap it in there in case I need it, okay?
Not a problem.
But I think I should be good otherwise. Let's see. Let me find this real quick. Before I forget and I get tired. Hold on. Yeah, that Ready Player One party, man. That might be my Wednesday night jam. That sounds fun as hell. It sounds 80s styled.
So is it pretty spread out?
Yeah, it is. To be honest, it's there's a ton of like there's like so many different venues, and like there's like 4 main streets, and there's side streets and restaurants and everything else. So it is pretty spread out to be honest. Let me find. Let's see, episode 139. I think I shared this folder with you already. No, I didn't. Here, let me share this with you, and then you can just put it in here. I need an email. What email should I send it
to? JSKENE.
Oh, I got it.
05.
Okay. 05. Yep. Yeah. Okay. I know I've done this before, but okay. So you're good there. Send. Okay. So that's the folder, and you can just put in your end of the recording in there. I don't care what format. I'll figure it out. I probably won't need it, but like I said,
do you prefer a certain format? You want to pick MP4
MP3 is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Or you can even do the OGG file too. That Audacity does. I don't really care. I can move stuff around. Like I said, I shouldn't need it. The Zencastr thing is kind of nice that way actually, because it kind of does all of it for me. But I'm experimenting a little bit, so I've got all these different things. I just stopped my other backup too, so I got hella things happening. And then I recorded my side. Project. Alright, let's see. Episode. My computer catches up. I'm doing too many things at once. Here we go. That's why I have all the RAM in this computer, right? Here we go. Episode 139. Okay. Alright, so I have a ton of different versions of everything, so we should be good.
Okay. Yeah, mine's doing the thing right now.
Yeah, take your time. Like I said, just throw it in there when you can, and I won't be able to deal with it till next week anyway. But like I said,
okay.
I have plenty of versions of this particular program to deal with, so I'm not worried about it. Anyway, buddy, awesome. I am gonna take off. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, man. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, same to you.
Yeah. I won't be able to record any nights next week, but maybe really early the following week, if you're available. We can maybe Monday or Tuesday. Just let me know. I'll throw it out to you. But so
yeah, Tuesdays are usually good for me because I usually take those as an office day. So I'm home pretty much all day long. So
I should look at my schedule and see if I didn't pick up any shifts or anything. So I'm talking 19th. I'm out. We're talking. Yeah, that should work. Maybe Tuesday the 26th.
Okay. Just let me know.
Yeah. Because then I have enough content to. I have this show and the other one to put out, so we should be good to go. So it'll be almost like we didn't miss a beat.
See what happens.
All right,
Nobody will know the difference.
I know, exactly. All right, buddy. I appreciate it. And like I said, I really want to get you out there next year, man. And
absolutely.
if like I say, if you're on here and you're doing stuff for us, then we can get you press passes. We got to renew our stuff for next year anyway. So if that's the case, then you apply with us and you're good to go. So
sounds good to me.
That'll at least save you $300.
Hey, $300 is good. That probably pays for the plane ticket.
Yeah, so. Exactly. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon, man. Thank you. Happy Father's Day.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Later.
Bye.